And you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone.
I know parents want to send their kids to outstanding schools. Let me show you the outstanding school I go to. It's the public school not far from my house. Lots of choices academically. Highly rated and experienced teachers. I love all of the activities. My school has everything. Texas Public Schools. The closer you get, the better they look.
This message brought to you by the Texas Association of School Boards.
Start your sports day with everything, anything, and all things Texas A&M. Join Gabe and the crew from 8 till 11. You're listening to KZNE, KNDE HD3, and K274CM College Station Bryan.
Sports Flag.
I'm Jay Berman. This report is brought to you by Geico. Great news. There's a quick way you could save money. Switch to Geico. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes you could save 15% or more on car insurance. We'll start in the NFL. We're already on to preseason week number 2. We have 3 games tonight. A Super Bowl rematch up first at 7:30 Eastern. It's the Eagles and Patriots from New England. And then a pair of games at 8 Eastern. Jets and Redskins from D.C., Steelers and Packers from Green Bay. Meanwhile, Des Bryant is in Cleveland today for a meeting with the Browns. It's his first free agent visit since getting cut by the Cowboys back in April. All right, from the college game, the parents of Maryland offensive lineman Jordan McNair, who died in June from heat stroke caused during a team workout, they say the toxic culture in the football program played a role in their son's death, and that head coach DJ Durkin should no longer be allowed to coach. Meanwhile, TCU's defense has taken a major hit as tackle Ross Blacklock suffered a season-ending Achilles injury in practice. That happened earlier this week. Johnny Manziel's been placed in the CFL's concussion protocol. The Montreal Alouettes made the announcement last night. All right, to baseball, the Braves announced the CT scan of Ronald Acuña's elbow was normal. He's day-to-day. Obviously, we still have to deal with the fallout from last night's beating from Jose Urena. We do have one afternoon game about to get underway, Rays and Yankees in New York. I'm Jay Berman.
Eye on college football. Saturdays from noon to 8 p.m. Eastern, starting September 1st. Only on CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone, brought to you by the folks at Circle X Country Store. The Houston Food Bank Summer Feeding Program is partnering with local organizations throughout the Brazos Valley to bring nutritious snacks and or hot meals to school-age children during the summer months. Visit bvfb.org for dates, locations, and times. The College Station Police Department invites the public to the annual community picnic and back-to-school rally, Saturday, August 25th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Lincoln Recreation Center. Tomorrow night at the Brazos Expo Center, Lions Pride Sports presents High Voltage with wrestlers from the WWE, TNA, Impact Wrestling, and 3 championship matches. All proceeds will benefit the Living to Give Children's Foundation. Get your tickets now at lionsprideproductions.com. Community Calendar is brought to you by Circle X Country Store. Lose yourself in a wonderful mix of one-of-a-kind gifts, the latest in ladies' clothing and accessories, plus cinch for men. Exit off Highway 6 North, 1415 OSR East.
We are Symetria Recovery,
the one outpatient treatment network that focuses on one thing:
crushing opioid addiction.
with one treatment team.
Counselors, doctors, nurses, psychiatrists.
One proven method, the Symetria method.
With a success rate 4 times the industry average.
Call 844-847-6999.
That's 844-847-6999.
Hey, opioid addiction, we've got your number.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, hang on a sec.
You've been riding this thing all day, and my son would like a turn.
He seems a bit young for this twin-cylinder hog, doesn't he?
It's a coin-operated kiddie bike.
No, ma'am. It's a coin-operated freedom machine.
No, it's a kiddie bike.
It's hard to be without your bike, so do something easy and protect it with Progressive Motorcycle Insurance. With basic policies as low as $75 a year, you'll be back on the road in no time. Visit Progressive.com to quote today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I improved my credit score.
You're kidding, right?
No.
How are we supposed to be the bad boys of electro-synth pop if you're out there being responsible? The band is about to be discovered. This is our year.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while now.
You think anyone in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was worried about their credit score?
I never really thought that.
Of course they weren't. Rock stars aren't supposed to think about that kind of stuff. We're supposed to think about how many guitars we've smashed, write aggressively sensitive power ballads, start questionable fashion trends, tragically break up and blame creative differences.
All right. I thought maybe it was time to take control of my finances, you know? Start using a budget. Get out of debt. Set some goals.
A budget? Debt? Set some goals? Listen, I knew that we'd have our creative differences, but I was hoping they'd involve a little more scandal.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Check this. You can hear A&M football from the first game to the bowl game. On Sports Radio 1150 and The Zone 102.7 FM.
Embers floating on the southbound breeze, somewhere between heaven and the tall pine trees. Hard land, I'm missing you. Guitar playing through the night, it felt pretty good, I'm feeling alright. Good as one for the price of two. It's been a long time gone since the truth's been told.
Good afternoon, Bryan College Station. Welcome to the Beliucci Hour Lunch, live on Sports Radio 1150 The Zone 102.7 FM. Ryan Brauninger sitting in today with Mr. Olin Buchanan.
Pinch talking.
Bench talking?
Pinch talking for Billy.
Luch has started his weekend a little bit early. Can we get somebody to turn down this the bumper music? Pull that down over at the station, please. There we go. That's getting a little better.
That's like a Ryan Brauninger theme song.
It is one of my favorite songs. We've changed the intro music. We've changed the bumpers. We've got new streams available now. If you want to check us out, Zone 1150 Facebook page, Zone 1150 YouTube page as well. Again, I'm Ryan Brauninger sitting in with Olin Buchanan today, who's filling in for Beliucci. As always, we are at the Tap on Harvey Road, eating the Tap's great lunch specials. Always good, always tasty. I think Olin has already polished off his blackened chicken sandwich.
I highly recommend the blackened chicken sandwich.
Blackened chicken here, whatever you get it in, is really good. They could probably put it between two pieces of concrete. It'd probably, if you get through that concrete, it'd be good because the chicken's so good.
Well, you typically order the blackened chicken between two pieces of blackened chicken,
right? Yeah. High protein. High in beta-alanine as well. But $8.49 blackened chicken sandwich today. As always, the $8.49 burger basket. Karaoke on Mondays. Turn Up Tuesdays is Nathan, I forgot to pull that stupid thing up. But you did send me the drink specials. They got great drink specials in here and no cover on Tuesday nights. Wednesdays, piano bar. And now we are 2 weeks away from kickoff. And we will have that Beliucci Hour show on that Thursday. I've been handing some information for that. What we know about that Thursday game day schedule in terms of what's going to go on campus is that parking will still not be open until like 2:30. I think 3. But I think the latest I heard was that they're bumping it now to 2:30. Still, you're going to need a place to come before you go to campus. We will have a Beliucci Hour show that day here at the Tap. And then John has given me some details on that. It's going to be an indoor tailgate party, a barbecue plate, drink specials, much more. We'll have information on that next week. We hope to see all of you out there, whether you're sitting in here with us at the Tap, whether you've got us tuned in on the radio or on the live streams. Come visit with us on game day ahead of the Aggie 6:30 kick against the Northwestern State Demons to open the 2018 campaign. We've had kind of a lot to talk about. We went through a little phase, OB, where it was a lot of regurgitated info because we kept seeing the same thing as members of the media. You know, you see your first 15, 20 minutes of practice every day, and then, you know, there really wasn't much to talk about. And then you had Texags Radio, you had Louie, you had Chip Show. Everybody was breaking it down. You had this show. Everybody's breaking it down 20 minutes what they saw. Last Sunday, we get to see a whole lot more. And I think and then they've got the scrimmage on Monday. Want to get your just overarching thoughts of what you've seen and what you've been encouraged by so far with this A&M team, and then maybe the biggest questions you have, because we hear about from Beliucci every week. What are some of the things that you've seen every day that you like, and then where do you think there's still question marks?
Well, I think, first of all, and I'm sure this has been discussed over and over, is, guys should be big and look good, or they wouldn't be at Texas A&M on a scholarship anyway, but they seem to have gone to a different level. They got some guys that really looked the part, and they had before, but there just seems so much more of them. Guys like Muhammad Diallo.
I can't get over
that guy makes you look little.
Well, a lot of guys out there make me look little.
And then a guy like Kingsley Kiki is so big but more streamlined and things like that. So, that's one thing that gets my attention first of all. And then when we watched them play, and I know they were keeping it very vanilla, but what really stands out to me more than the individuals, and I did like, I think it's Corbin Richardson, is that his name, the running back?
Cordarian.
I was really impressed with him. He shows a lot of acceleration. Of course, Travion is going to play in the NFL someday, hopefully not for 2 years. The tight ends, especially Sternberger, every time I see him, I'm impressed with him. But what really stands out to me more than anything, and I know this has just been hashed over and over, it's just the different atmosphere and different mentality at practice from the coach, who's so hands-on and so involved in every aspect. And if he doesn't like something, everybody knows he doesn't like it, and he lets you know with some really interesting language.
Well, on Sunday, the media was sitting on the other side, the student side, and I guess we were 15, 20 rows up maybe, and we're listening and we're watching, and it just so happened that day Jared Hocker had a rough stretch of plays, about probably 5 or 6 in a row, where Jimbo didn't like the way he was attacking his down defender, and then he didn't like the way he was attacking his linebacker, then he didn't like the way he sat in pass protection, and we heard it. Every time we heard it, 15, 20 rows up in the stands. But listen, and it's not yelling. It's yelling with a purpose. I just got done watching Last Chance U, this season of Last Chance U. That guy's yelling with no purpose. He's just yelling and cussing kids for no reason. I didn't hear Jimbo cuss him. I heard Jimbo coach him with intent and with purpose. And here's another thing that you can do. And I figured this out whenever my baseball kids turned about 14, and girls start becoming important to them, and it's all about kind of how they look. Well, listen, not a lot changes from the time you're 14 to the time you're about 21 in terms of that, right? You can embarrass these kids by coaching them hard and coaching them in front of all of their peers, and they will respond to it. And I've seen Jimbo do it. I've seen other members of his staff do it. You've seen Tim Brewster do it with the tight ends. It's about getting that response out of these kids, and they're doing a great job of coaching with a purpose and with intent. There's a standard that's been set. I thought Mike Elko said it best about his defense, and I went over this on Tuesday. He said there's one standard. There's not a standard OB that if you're hurt, you do it this way, or if you're playing really well, you do it this way. There's one standard, and it's got to be on defense. It's got to be 22 guys in the 2 deep that buy into that standard, or however many guys are on that roster. I think that is the culture change. If you look at it in such a big picture, a culture change, that's a lot, right? So it's every day when a guy doesn't do something correctly, you don't wait till film to correct it. You get on his butt right then and you correct it right now. And then it's up to the kid changing the culture. It's up to the kid to make the decision to say, okay, I've got to change this now. And it's not okay to wait for it, and it's not okay to pout. It's about doing it now. And I think once that starts permeating into the leadership of the football team, into the Tyrell Dotsons, into the Travion Williams, into the Keaton Sutherlands and the Eric McCoys, where it's not Jimbo or Jim Turner or Terry Price saying these things. When it's the kids on the team saying it, that's when you start chipping away at this culture.
Yeah, you probably saw it. Jimbo was telling them, look, I want you to practice at a championship level every day. There's not a day off. Our light practice doesn't mean you practice lightly. And if you want to have a championship caliber team, the first step is practice at a championship caliber level. And I think Coach Fisher will not accept anything less than that. And that means going full speed. That means paying attention, knowing what you're supposed to do. He always talks about being tough, being physical. Make that as natural as taking a breath, and that's what he's demanding. And I think that this is what a program needed, was a coach that was more demanding.
Well, he said this too, Olin. I've never heard it put like this, and I thought it was so poignant. And then I start using it with everything that I do in my life. And so people here at the tap, or you're listening, driving around, or however you're listening, ask yourself this question, or say, do you live by this? How you do anything is how you do everything. I thought that was one of the most, poignant, full of wisdom quotes that I'd heard from a coach in a long time, and that goes back to setting that culture. How you tie your shoes, how you leave your locker, between practice. What does the locker room look like between practice? How you do anything is how you do everything.
I guess. I'm sure there are certain things I do better than others.
You know what?
That's what my wife tells me.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Well, she says I'm a lot better going to work and providing than I am like cleaning and helping out around the house. What do you think I meant?
I didn't know where you were going. I wasn't going to touch it, though.
But you do certain things better than others.
I think it's about the intent.
But once you get on the field and you're thinking about football and your job, I think there's a whole level of intensity that some of the players didn't even know existed from a coach, and with every day they're getting more accustomed to it, and they're understanding that there's a certain level of intensity and expectation that they have to meet every practice.
Still some big questions for you?
Oh yeah, sure. There's going to be big questions. We keep hearing that there's progress in the offensive line, but till we actually see it, there's a certain amount of, I don't want to say skepticism, but question, and quite frankly, I don't think we'll have the answers to those questions until September 9th.
I think there's 4 there. I think there's 4 guys up there that are pretty much cemented themselves in the starting lineup. That 5th guy can determine a lot, because if the 5th guy is Colton Prater at center, then Eric McCoy moves to guard. If the 5th guy is Jared Hocker or somebody, Connor Lanfear at guard, then McCoy stays at center. That seems like the most appetizing offensive line setup for the fans, at least. I think that the A&M fans are more comfortable seeing McCoy at center because they've seen him be so successful there for a long time, and you understand how important that position is. But the question arises is those 4 names are pretty solid, and I believe that Keaton Sutherland and Eric McCoy can be some kind of all-SEC type of offensive lineman. I think they have that ability. How those 2 sophomore tackles play and then what happens with that 5th spot are enormous questions and will have a huge impact on this season.
Oh, without a doubt. Like you said, it starts with Eric McCoy, and where's he going to play? I think he's an all-conference caliber player wherever he plays, but there must be some school of thought that he could be better at guard, and that's why they're always, two coaching staffs has looked for a replacement for him at center. And the fact is, and everybody that knows football, everybody who's ever followed football knows this, you can have 4 really good offensive linemen, but if one is struggling, then you're not going to have a good offensive line because it only takes one breakdown to break up a play.
I would love to get, just to learn and understand. I'm not asking this question to try to be, I know everything, but it seems like center is like a catcher in baseball. It's super important that you have a really good one that knows what's going on. If McCoy's done it for so long and he's been so reliable, why are they looking for a reason to move him out of there? I'm not trying to be sarcastic in that about it. That's genuinely a question I have.
Well, I wonder if they just look at it and say, just the way this guy can come off the ball without, if he doesn't, maybe you have to hesitate for a split second, making the snap, make sure the snap's there, and you just look at him as a dominant road grader type, and you're thinking, man, if we could put this guy at guard, maybe he could even be better there than he is at center. That's the only thing I can think of. But especially now that they're not going to be in the in the shotgun all the time, because when he was a center a couple of years ago in the shotgun, he did have a tendency to float the snap back there.
Yep. On the other side of the break, we're going to dive into A&M's schedule, the opponents, what they look like, what Olin thinks the opposition's records will be when they close their 2018 season. Don't forget, if you want to get your questions answered from here at the Tap, find these index cards, find you a pen, write them down. Olin and I will do our best to get to them in the final segment of the show. Beliucci Hour Lunch on a Thursday. We'll be right back.
The Louis Bellina Show, where there's nothing more reassuring than realizing the world is crazier than you. Listen in weekdays from 11 to 2 on The Zone.
For your car, your home, your business too, Acme Glass takes care of you. For over 60 years, we're the clear leader. Our quality and value keeps shining through. For repair and replacement on all kinds of glass, you can trust Acme for quality that lasts. Where quality and value keep shining through, Acme Glass, we're the clear leader.
Normandy Tractor and Implement Company, winner of the Kubota Elite Certified Dealer Award in Best of the Brazos Valley for 17 straight years. Home of the Kubota tractors, ATVs, RTVs, zero-turn lawnmowers, and implements for the farm and ranch. Celebrate spring with great package deals. For a limited time, get the #1 selling compact tractor in Texas, the new Kubota L2501F, 24.8 horsepower, along with the 3-point quick hitch and a 5-foot box blade for only $10,599 cash price, or with financing less than $114 per month. Upgrade to a 4-wheel drive and get monthly payments of only $129 per month. Remember, Vernon and the boys at Normandy Tractor are the best when it comes to customer service and building your own Kubota package deal. Get zero money down, 0% financing at Normandy Tractor on most Kubota tractors and lawn equipment. Normandy Tractor at Highway 39 at OSR in Normandy, online normandytractor.com. Remember, for the largest selection and best prices on all your Kubota tractor and utility vehicle needs, nobody beats Normandy Tractor. Nobody.
If you're not bundling your insurance with Allstate, you might have fear of missing out, or FOMO.
You're too old to say FOMO.
But people who don't bundle their auto and home with Allstate...
No, FOMO's about fun stuff, not insurance.
But what if people use the money they save to pay for that fun stuff?
Okay, fine.
Bundle your auto and home insurance and save up to 25%. Call BCS Allstate agent Jerry Anderson, class of 82 at 979-764-0015 today.
Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
Fender benders, parking lot challenges, scrapes, bruises, and bumps. I'm vehicle challenged when it comes to avoiding objects that get in my way. Hi, I'm Mary Mike Hatcher for Oscar & Sons Body Shop. My car is my second office, and it's so important to keep it looking great. Oscar & Sons Body Shop has done just that. As a family affair for over 40 years, they remove cosmetic blemishes to major auto body repair. Google Oscar & Sons. They'll come to you with a free estimate for your repairs. Oscar & Sons Body Shop. They wreck it, we fix it.
Folks are always looking for a place to meet friends, grab some food, relax, and unwind with a cold beer, mixed drink, or glass of Boots sweet tea. The Tap on Harvey Road has been the place to do just that for nearly 30 years. A casual atmosphere and tasty food keeps people coming back for more. Our burgers, salads, chicken tenders, nachos, and more are sure to satisfy whatever craving you have. And being in SEC country, the Tap is a great place to meet before, during, or after the game. See you at the Tap on Harvey Road in College Station.
Beliucci, the insider for all things Aggie football. Join Gabe Bach each Monday and Friday at 10:05. Go straight to the source with Luch. Mondays and Fridays on TexAgs Radio. No place else. The Zone. The Zone.
Welcome back, Beliucci Hour Lunch, here on at the Tap on Harvey Road. Come check out the Tap's great lunch specials: $8.49 burger basket, $8.49 blackened chicken sandwich. That comes with fries and a drink. Monday nights karaoke, Wednesday nights piano bar, and we continue to work on the drink specials and the itinerary for the indoor tailgate ahead of A&M's home opener 2 weeks from today. Obi, I wanted to go back to and kind of clarify something I said last segment. I think with the change in coaching staffs and kind of what Coach Sumlin had got going on here, I think everybody wanted to hear, a lot of the fans, they get so excited to hear that the players are being coached and the players are being held accountable. And all that's good and well, but I think they take that to mean is that they're always hearing negativity and they're always being corrected. When it's good, they're told that it's good. And when it's bad, they're told that it's bad. You have to tell these kids the truth. It can't always be negative and beating them down left, right, and center to change a culture. That's not changing a culture. That's beating kids down. So I wanted to clarify that yes, they are being coached, and when they're not doing things right, they're told that they're not doing things right. But when it is good, they're told that, yes, that's what we're looking for. That's good. So it's important that you have both that positive and negative.
Well, absolutely. But if someone is if you're expecting a player to do a certain thing, deliver a block a certain way, stand a certain way, throw a certain way, and you continually don't, then coaches start to get a little bit frustrated and voice it. And I heard Jimbo yell at one of the quarterbacks for the way for his footwork, just in a regular drill, because he has high standards and he knows what it takes to be successful. And I think that a good, tough-minded guy can handle that, and he can accept a coach yelling at him, understand that they're trying to make him better, and then use that to get better. And I think if you have the kind of players that kind of recoil at that, well, those are the kind of players you probably don't want.
Well, and I think that's going to play a huge role in this quarterback battle between Kellen and Nick is who's going to be able to handle the coaching the best? Who's going to be able to handle Jimbo making you be perfect with everything you do, and when it's not, you hear about it. I think that's a huge deal.
I think so, and of course, what he's hammering on is for them to understand his system, and then their responsibilities, be able to read the defenses, and not just get them in the right play, but make sure everybody understands what's the correct blocking scheme, or I should say the most advantageous blocking scheme against the defense that the quarterback just deciphered, and so on. And so he's trying to get that, and that's a lot of responsibility. So in order to get that, he's got to really hammer it home.
We got to hear from the coordinators for the first time, and you were in the room with Daryl Dickey and Mike Elko.
Yeah.
What are your quick thoughts on both of those guys? It was your first time to talk to them, and I thought Mike Elko had some really cool, neat things to say.
Well, they're both just so professional. And, I'm very high on Mike Elko. I think he's going to come in here, and I said it today. I think the defense, we were talking about it this morning. We were saying the defense ranked 78th in the nation last year. So I said, I'll call my shot. It'll be twice as good, and they'll be ranked 39th in the nation in total defense. And I think that's very attainable for several reasons.
You do that around here, and people start going nuts, huh? That hasn't happened since that Tim DeRuyter season of 2010.
Yeah, well, I think Gabe was pointing out that A&M hadn't been in the top 50 nationally in defense in about, I think he said 2006 maybe. And I just look at a defense with a guy like Kingsley Key, Ataro Alaka, senior Donovan Wilson. Throw out some other names. Derek Tucker, who I really liked. Landis Durham. Mm-hmm. So you got a lot of talent on the defense, and with a different scheme, and then on top of that, an offense that's going to help them out by not trying to just see how many plays they can run, but to run tempo based on what it's going to take to win the game. I could see the A&M making a significant improvement on defense. And then just when we were talking to Dickey, just a professional, knows what he's looking for. Mm-hmm. People know that he comes from Memphis and thinking, well, they ran this wide open, throw the ball every play, up-tempo offense at Memphis, and isn't that isn't that contradictory to what Jimbo Fisher wants to do? But if you really know about Darryl Dickey, you know that they were a very run-oriented team when he was a head coach at North Texas, led the nation in rushing. Yeah. So he's just a professional guy that knows what they're looking for, can help develop quarterbacks, has done so. And I think he doesn't have to be the guy calling plays, and I think he can be a really a great asset. And, oh, by the way, he's the one that said, hey, we're looking to not necessarily have an up-tempo, but to control the tempo and play the tempo what it's going to take to win.
Yeah.
So if we need to go up-tempo real quick to score, hey, we're going to snap the ball fast, maybe not huddle, get the ball down and try to score. If we see our defense needs a break, then, hey, we're going to take the foot off the gas pedal a little bit and slow it down. And I think that's just smart.
And if you have that mentality at the Rose Bowl last year, you win the football game. I don't think there's any question about that.
Oh, well, yeah, they should have won it anyway. But, there's no question about that. And, of course, if you win that game, you might have a different coach here today. So
who knows?
So maybe
real quick,
silver lining.
Before we go to break, I wanted to get your thoughts on Elko's quote about the return of the wrecking crew. It just seems like every new defensive coordinator that's come in here since RC, that's a question they've had to answer. And I thought Coach Elko's answer was very measured, and I thought it was very cerebral. And it was good because he talked about, this is a day-by-day thing. Whatever, we got to focus on us creating our own identity. Whatever everyone else wants to bestow upon, a name upon what we do, that's up to them. But, again, this is about our standard.
Anybody that follows college football, and he said that he obviously did, he was a college football fan, knows about the wrecking crew, and they know what Texas A&M used to be. And if you didn't know, then once you get here, you find out. And everybody knows Wallace and Coriat and all those players and how dominant and intimidating those defenses were. And so he's going to come in, he's going to hear things about the wrecking crew, he's going to understand what that standard you're trying to reach. But I think at this point right now, get a crew first.
Get a crew, and
then start thinking about wrecking. So what I'm saying is, and I'm sure that's what he's trying to do. Establish yourself as a good, fundamentally sound defense that can just stop people. That you can stop the opponent more, at enough to win, and then after you prove you can do that, take the next step, or try to take the next step of being that dominant, intimidating, I'll knock your helmet off and hold it up for the Kyle Field stands to cheer. Then be that. But first, establish yourself as an effective defense first.
Yeah, I thought, again, and you're 100% spot on with all of that. I think I got a sneaky feeling that he believes this talent is better than maybe what he thought it was whenever he got here. I think getting Buddy Johnson back, getting Donovan healthy, getting Tucker healthy, I think he's starting to say, hey, these guys, this is maybe the most talented group of individuals I've ever had to coach.
I think if you gave him truth serum, he doesn't want to talk bad on those kids from Notre Dame. And Notre Dame had good talent, but they didn't have a senior that was in the NFL that was drafted on defense. No. Now, they had some NFL caliber players coming up, but I don't know that they have as many NFL caliber players on that Notre Dame defense as they do on this Texas A&M defense. As I said, I think someday Tyrell Dodson will be playing pro football. I think someday Donovan Wilson will be playing pro football. Kingsley Key, Justin Matabike, maybe Mac.
Peavy.
So I think he probably got down here and started looking at the hand he was dealt and said,
this ain't
I
so
got
bad.
a full house here. I think I can win some. I think I can win the pot.
On the other side of the break, we will get into the A&M schedule. Get OB's thoughts on the Aggies' upcoming opponents. Beliucci Hour Lunch, live on the Zone.
From News Talk 1620 WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on Sports Radio 1150 in the Zone 102.7 FM. There is limited engagement and unexpected attraction at Bryan's Premier Movie Theater. That's after a Mustang drove through a protective metal pole and into a ticket booth last night. Bryan police report there was enough impact to deploy both the driver and passenger side airbags. The 19-year-old driver refused transport for treatment of minor injuries. The 18-year-old passenger was not hurt. No charges were filed from what BPD classified as a private property collision. The idea of a slight decrease in the city of Bryan's property tax rate for 1 year was quickly quashed by the city council. Mayor Andrew Nelson shared his frustration that state lawmakers are expected to impose a cap on local property tax rates. Nelson noted that in Bryan, an 8% increase in property valuations could have resulted in a tax rate decrease of 1/2 cent.
Why there's this one-size-fit-all strategy in Austin, it's actually having a perverse incentive on us here because we're sitting here thinking about can we lower taxes, but because we're going to be treated the same as Beaumont and Houston and Dallas and Snook.
The savings for the owner of a $200,000 home in Bryan was estimated at $10. Representatives of the owner of the downtown Bryan parking garage don't know or aren't saying what is known about the results of a study about the structural integrity of the building. The Brazos Transit District's Marketing and Communications Director, Joe Penn, was asked for an update on this morning's WTAW's The Infomaniacs.
I don't have any new information to share about that.
Fences on the main floor across the street from the courthouse have been in place to keep vehicles from parking in spaces near perimeter walls where cosmetic damage may cause blocks to fall. The district CEO told WTAW News their lawyer was supposed to have results of their engineering study a month ago. I'm Chelsea Reber on Sports Radio 1150 and the Zone 102.7 FM.
For your car, your home, your business too, Acme Glass takes care of you. For over 60 years, we're the clear leader. Our quality and value keeps shining through. For repair and replacement on all kinds of glass, you can trust Acme for quality that lasts. Where quality and value keep shining through. Acme Glass, we're the clear leader.
Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. We put your feet back on the streets. Fast professional service with the best rates in town. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. Open 24/7. Call 979-821-BOND. That's 979-821-2663. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds is Aggie owned and operated class of 95. Serving the Brazos Valley for over 20 years. Gage Gandy Bail Bonds is located behind the Brazos County Courthouse in Bryan. Call 979-821-BOND. That's 979-821-2663. Or visit GageGandyBailBonds.com. We put your feet back on the streets.
This is Larry of Missouri, previously on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Hey, Mike, good afternoon.
Nick Saban should be fired at Alabama.
Okay.
If Alabama stumbled early this year out the gate, Nick Saban should be fired for incompetence, poor judgment, and just plain stupidity by starting Calico Blue.
Hold on a second, Mike. Which quarterback do you think should start, Mike?
I think Jalen Hurts should start. Who got him to the championship this year? Who got him to the championship last year?
Yeah, okay.
Now, this kid, Calico Blue.
Who, Tagliabue?
Well, whatever his name is, Paul, you know what I'm trying to say.
I do.
Look, he's a new shiny object. Everybody's tempted by the new shiny object sitting in the corner. If Nick Saban wants to risk his coaching job and take a chance of starting this guy who's only had one good game, it's like that old Janet Jackson song, "What have you done for me lately?"
They won one championship and lost no. But thanks for the call, Mike.
Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 on the Zone.
.37 on a Thursday afternoon. Ryan Brauninger and Olin Buchanan, Beliucci Hour Lunch, getting you guys ready for the weekend. Front table, during the break, I just want to let you know, Olin Buchanan gave y'all a compliment that I know Beliucci would never, ever give y'all. But Olin sees his future right down there with y'all in the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, I think I'm about most of those guys' age. I'm not very much. I'm not much younger than those guys.
I told him he can't sit on the same side of the table as Asher and Tipton, so he's got to go to the other end next to Jimmy. You listen. Tipton's living in fantasy land now that Jimbo's here. He bought season tickets to Arkansas. He's going to see.
See, he might be younger than me.
He might be.
See, looks better than I do anyway.
Well, that ain't hard.
Well, I know that. But.
Hey, so let's go through this A&M schedule, OB, and not on how A&M will do against these teams, but where you think their season is going. And we'll leave all the the non-Power Fives and the Northwestern State, Louisiana Monroe, leave them out.
UAB.
Yeah, UAB. Well, let's start with Clemson.
Okay.
Win the ACC?
Yeah, if I had to vote, I would vote Clemson
Playoff
number
team?
1 in the nation coming into the season.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
You believe in Kelly Bryant?
I believe that he was good enough to get them to the playoff last year. I don't know if he'll be the starting quarterback because they like that
Trevor Lawrence, yeah.
Trevor Lawrence a lot. But
he's a total animal. One of the best or the most highly talented and skilled kids I've ever seen covering recruiting. I mean, he is insanely talented.
So is he going to be, come in and take over?
I don't think A&M will see him in week 2.
Well, they may not. But again, Bryant was a good, productive quarterback last year. They got really good running backs. The kid that was committed to A&M,
Travis Etienne.
Yeah, he didn't even start, and he's their most explosive guy. They do have to locate some big play receivers. They still have the Renfro kid, the one that caught the touchdown pass to beat Alabama in the championship 2 years ago. They still have him. He's a good possession type guy. They got to find somebody that they can count on as a deep threat. But they have a All-American tackle. They have an all-conference center. And then on defense, the defensive front four, there are those that are saying that their front four is the best front four in college football history, and that they have 4 guys that are projected to the first round picks. So
yeah, I've watched Christian Wilkins' highlight tape, and he's got a little bit of Myles Garrett to what he does.
And then they're not as good in the back 7, but they still are pretty good back there.
If you can't block those guys 4 in the front, it makes life awful difficult.
Show me a good front 4, I'll show you good defense. So they have so much coming back. I think it's like 8-8 or 8-9 starters coming back off that team that went 12-2. They have a lot more coming back than Alabama. So if I understand people picking Alabama number 1. You're basing it on what they've always done. Why not? It's like going to Vegas and you keep playing roulette. The red keeps coming up. You keep playing it until it doesn't.
Right.
But Clemson's, I think, at least on paper, looks like the best team in the country coming back.
So the next game, the next opponent is Alabama, SEC champions.
Oh yeah. I would look for Alabama. I'd like to say they'd be 11-1 coming out of the regular season, but you'd have to project those guys going undefeated. And quite frankly, A&M's their the most difficult game for them, most challenging opponent in the first 2 months of the season. They have a pretty soft season to open up, and this is an Alabama team you want to get them early because they do have some questions, and maybe you could get them before they answer some of those questions. But by the time the Alabama schedule really gets tough, they should have everything figured out.
It'd be really interesting to see what they do at quarterback. Obviously, Tua is the more talented kid. Jalen Hurts is 27-1 as a starter. I don't know how. Maybe there's some infighting or some fluctuation there by the time they get to week 4 with A&M still. But I think Tua is obviously the better player.
I think 26-2, but who's counting? Because they did lose that championship game to Clemson.
That's right.
Wasn't his fault. He left with the lead. Everything I've heard and read out there is that Tua, how's he say it? Tagovailoa. I just say it fast. Just say it fast. Yeah. You sound right. I think he's going to be the starter. But I get it. I'm just like everybody else. I saw the second half of that championship game. But
he may be the most talented guy that Saban's had.
But say what you want about Jalen Hurts. The guy won. And there are his skeptics and his critics talk about that say he doesn't throw the ball well. But I saw him again in that Mississippi State game when the game was on the line late in the fourth quarter, make some big throws. And, from what scares me about a quarterback is one that if you can get a good pass rush on him and he can make you miss and then can run 20 or 30 yards, and, hey, he did that to A&M.
Sure.
I don't know that Tua is going to be the same running threat. I'd rather have a quarterback in the pocket if I'm on defense.
Tua is certainly athletic enough. I've seen him in the high
But
school.
not like Jalen Hurts.
No, he's not as elusive of a runner as Jason Hurts.
I don't think you're going to have to worry about Tua tucking it and going 40 yards on you.
Alabama playoff team for you?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Why would they not be?
Again, same thing you said about the roulette. It keeps coming up red.
Just stay with it.
Yep. All right, so now we get into the fun stuff because I think Clemson and Alabama were the easier ones to navigate through there in terms of analysis, season-long analysis. Let's go Arkansas and Kentucky.
Okay, Kentucky's going to probably go about 6-6. They feel like
they're a bowl team?
Yeah, I think
because of the East.
that's part of it. They got to find a quarterback. They got a JUCO guy they're really excited about, and he may be a dramatic upgrade.
Stephen Johnson was a guy that had been there forever.
Yeah,
right?
he'd been there forever. This guy's name's Terry. I can't think of his last name right now, but they're really excited about him. He was at like Garden City or one of those Kansas colleges last year and did really well. You like their running back, Benny Snell. They have a pass rushing linebacker, Allen, that's as good as anybody. They have some receivers that they think are supposed to be pretty good. They got to be more productive, but they feel like they can win with them. I know the folks up in Kentucky think that this is a year where they could win 8 or 9. I'm gonna say I'm gonna pump the brakes on that. They still look like a 6-16 to me, but they could be better than they were last year.
What about Arkansas?
Arkansas is going to be terrible. I think Arkansas in a best case scenario is 5-7.
I don't see a quarterback that's going to be able to translate into what Chad Morris wants to do. I think it's so hard to go from power run to spread.
It is, and give Chad Morris a couple of years, and maybe he'll have a roster that's more conducive to what he wants to do. Number one, I don't think he has the roster that's conducive to what he wants to do. Number two, I don't think he has the players that are talented enough to win in quite frankly, in any offense. They have the kid from, I think, Denmark, Froholt, who's a pretty good offensive lineman.
Yeah, they're not as good up front as they have been.
But more so as a base blocking, run blocking kind of guy. Their two best players last year, without a doubt, were Allen, the quarterback, and Frank Ragnow, the center.
Ragnow.
And both of those guys are gone. Now, defense.
McTelvin Agim.
He's as good as anybody. And I think their linebackers are solid. I was talking to a guy from Arkansas I guess it was last month. He said they felt like one of the areas where that's one of their strong points is the secondary, and they were ranked like 100 and something in the country in pass defense last year. Now they do get a guy back.
But
from injury.
what John Chavis is going to do is put them on islands and lock them up one-on-one. So
I think 5-7 is probably where Arkansas is headed, and it could be 4-8 because in their second game of the year they go out to Fort Collins to play Colorado State. I know they're putting that down as a W, but I don't think that you can take that one for granted. Colorado State's a pretty decent program.
Yeah, at home, that's a new stadium they've got out there too. Let's go South Carolina and Mississippi State before the break.
Both of them, I look at them around 9-3.
South Carolina 9-3.
Well, again, they're in the East.
I like Jake Bentley a whole lot.
I do,
I could see A&M going up there and losing that game.
Well, I think that's one of those games where you go in knowing that you got to play well to win. But look, Jake Bentley's a quarterback that I think he had a breakout year last year as a sophomore. Debo Samuel, who is the South Carolina version of Christian Kirk, just a lightning bolt that can do anything and make anything a big play. He's coming back from injury, so that's a big boost. They also had another receiver who caught about 60 passes last year that are back. The big question for me about South Carolina is how good they're going to be in the offensive and defensive lines. I think there's no doubt about their skill positions. They don't have great running backs, but they have productive ones. They have good receivers, and then Bentley. But I question how good they're going to be in the offensive line and the defensive line, even though I'm pretty confident that Will Muschamp will find a way to put a pretty decent defense out there.
I think they'll be salty on defense. I don't know if they'll block enough. Jake Bentley, you saw what happened to him at Kyle Field last year, just beat to death in that second half. Loved his poise, loved his moxie, but if they don't block enough, we talked about Austin Allen like that, just getting beat up, and you admire the kid's toughness, but hard to win games when you don't block people. Mississippi State's
going to be really good.
Nick Fitzgerald?
Yeah, and I've talked to some people out in Mississippi, and they say, hey, he's completely back. He's 100%. And the big question there is that new coach Moorhead wants to throw the ball downfield more. And quite frankly, Nick Fitzgerald's never really been asked to throw the ball downfield. Plus, they don't have any receivers to speak of. So who are you going to throw downfield to? He's got to prove that they got to find a receiver that can get downfield, and then he's got to prove he can hit them. But I think A&M knows better than anybody what a threat he can be because he's a heck of a player. They got 4 starters back on offense, on the offensive line. They got a good running back, Aries Williams, and their defensive front's as good as anybody.
Yeah, I think Mississippi State's going to be really tough, and Nick Fitzgerald has ate up A&M
Yes, he has.
in his 2 appearances against the Aggies. On the other side of the break, we'll close the show with Auburn, Ole Miss, and LSU. Get Olin's thoughts there. We'll send you guys into the weekend. Beliucci Hour Lunch live on the Zone.
Catch every match of the Aggie soccer season on the Zone, 102.7 FM, and online at RadioAggieland.com.
So you've got bed bugs in your blankets and the weeds have whipped your grass. Those pesky ants are taking over and the shrubs are growing fast. If your sprinkler system's broken, hey, don't make a dozen calls. We're the ones to trust because ABC solves it all. You say your trees could use a trimming and there's landscape to install. Hungry termites feasting on the porch, you don't know who to call. We're specialists and we're the best for your environment. We're tried and true, still here for you. ABC Home and Commercial Services.
Be good to your vehicle, and it'll be good to you. Hi, I'm Gabriel Garcia from Traditions Mobile One Oil and Lube. And while that's a simple concept, it's so true. We're a full-service oil and lube shop with years of experience. And that experience tells us to always go the extra mile for our customers. Like topping off fluids for free on most vehicles and free tire pressure checks.
See Traditions Mobile One Oil and Lube on Villa Maria at 2818 next to Raleigh Car Wash or at East William J. Bryan next to the main post office.
Folks are always looking for a place to meet friends, grab some food, relax, and unwind with a cold beer, mixed drink, or glass of Boots Sweet Tea. The Tap on Harvey Road has been the place to do just that for nearly 30 years. A casual atmosphere and tasty food keeps people coming back for more. Our burgers, salads, chicken tenders, nachos, and more are sure to satisfy whatever craving you have. And being in SEC country, the Tap is a great place to meet before, during, or after the game. See you at the Tap on Harvey Road in College Station.
Everyone makes mistakes. Mistakes can land you on the wrong side of the law. If so, you need someone on your side. Steve Gustitis, attorney at law, has over 20 years' experience fighting felony and misdemeanor charges. Steve Gustitis will fight for you. Call now to set up your free consultation, 823-9111. Qualified people are ready to take your call. Call 823-9111 or visit GustitisLaw.com to see how Steve Gustitis can put the law on your side.
For your car, your home, your business too, Acme Glass takes care of you. For over 60 years, we're the clear leader. Our quality and value keeps shining through. For repair and replacement on all kinds of glass, you can trust Acme for quality that lasts. Where quality and value keep shining through, Acme Glass, we're the clear leader.
On Sports Talk, Chip and Krista trying to name all of Brad and Angelina's kids.
Is 116?
Zahara.
Is Maddox?
Maddox is 17 now.
17, okay.
Zahara. Pax is 14. Zahara is 13. Shiloh's 12.
And the twins are
Vivian
10.
and Knox.
They're 10.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got all that straightened out.
I mean, there's a lot.
There's a lot going on.
Getting older.
There's a lot going on.
Sports Talk, keeping tabs on the world so you don't have to. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on Sports Radio 1150 in the Zone 102.7 FM.
Final segment on a Thursday. Send you guys into the weekend. Ryan Brauninger, Olin Buchanan, Beliucci Hour Lunch. Live from here at the Tap on Harvey Road. We are going through the Aggie schedule. Last segment and trying to getting Olin's thoughts and reports on their opponents and kind of how Olin thinks the A&M schedule, the opponents on A&M schedule will finish their season. We are down to the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, I projected Auburn to go 9-3, and you know, to me, it's not. That's a team that 9-3 is not a bad year, and some would look at that and think maybe I'm underselling them.
Yeah, I think Auburn thinks they'll be better than that.
They do, but they open up with Washington. That's a game that they could lose.
That's in Atlanta, though, isn't it?
It is, but Washington's a good team. They close with Alabama. They also have to play at Georgia. They get A&M at home, which is a bad thing because the visitor always wins that that
crazy,
series.
Yeah.
And then there's you mix in an LSU and at Mississippi State. So I'd project them at 9-3, but that's a team because their schedule's so challenging and because there's a few questions. They're rebuilding the offensive line. They've got Auburn always has a good running back, but is he going to be as good as Kerryon Johnson? I doubt it.
Yeah.
And they talk about how good the defense is going to be, and it probably is. But they lost some pretty good guys off that defense too. So I think Jarrett Stidham will be better than he was last year and a lot more productive because they're going to ask him to be. So Auburn's going to be a good team, but I really believe they could go anywhere from 9-3, and with any. With a couple of bad breaks there, 7-5 is very realistic.
I mean, how many teams in this conference could you say that about? They're a 7-5 or 8-4 team. With a couple of good breaks, they're 9-3.
Well, I think maybe a couple, because I'm not going to say that about LSU.
No. But Mississippi State, Auburn, I would put A&M in that breath.
Yes, those three.
I would even maybe some teams in the East, South Carolina.
Well, South Carolina, I said 9-3. I thought they'd go. Florida's the team that I think. I'm not buying like Missouri, but Florida's the team that I think could be could surprise you and have a better year than maybe the projected.
Ole Miss. Who just unveiled the worst mascot of all time. Did you see that?
I saw
it's
that.
It's a land shark.
And they don't even play good defense anymore.
Well, why does a land shark have gills?
I guess I hadn't thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah. The Rebel football team, what do you think?
Well, I think that – don't they play Texas Tech early?
Yeah, open with Tech.
And see, they're Texas Tech. They're Texas Tech of the SEC. They're going to have a really good offense. I like the quarterback, Tamu. They have excellent receivers. Their offensive line should be really good. I think about 4 starters back with Greg Little anchoring it. But I don't see them stopping anybody. They're going to have to score 35 points a game to win.
You just can't do that in this conference.
That defense wasn't very good last year, and you took Braylon Speaks, who I think was like a second or third pick of the Kansas City Chiefs, and Marcus Haynes off that team. I just don't think they're going to be able to win unless they score 35 points a game.
Well, they've got the weapons to do that. I mean, the outside, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf.
Well, let me put it this way. They could score 35 and still lose by 2 touchdowns.
Very true. Final one, Olin, before we close the show, the LSU Tigers.
LSU I project them to be about 7-5. They might get up to 8-4, but when I look at LSU,
that's an awful schedule. Awfully tough.
It's tough.
Yeah, awfully tough. Yeah.
I think they're going to be really good on defense. They got Aranda. They got the white kid at linebacker.
He may be the best player in the conference.
They're really excited about the kid from Texas Tech, the defensive lineman that transferred there.
Fehoko, yeah.
They feel like their defensive line is going to be very good. They got Greedy Williams at corner. Defensively, LSU is going to be what you've come to expect from LSU. Rebuilding the offensive line. They don't have a running back.
They just had 2 quarterbacks transfer.
They had 2 quarterbacks. Well, that's because Joe Burrow is going to win that job. A guy that's never really played college football. He's always been a career backup. They say he's supposed to be special.
Can you do your Ed Orgeron?
Joe Burrow. And he goes, hey, look at him. Well, yeah, they lose DJ Chark, who is a very productive receiver. They don't have any proven receivers. They don't have when was the last time you could look at LSU and say, you don't just know they have a good running back. So I think offensively, their game against Ole Miss could be really interesting because one of them can score and can't stop anybody, and the other can stop anybody and can't score.
When do they get Ole Miss early? They've got a stretch of games that it's going to be. I mean, you could see them going over in that stretch. You have it right here.
Well, if I put my glasses on, I can probably find them. LSU, I got it right here. Let's see. Their schedule. Of course, they're going to open against Miami, and that could be a loss.
Yeah.
Their third game against Auburn, then they play Louisiana Tech, but after that Louisiana Tech.
There's that run right there.
Ole Miss at Florida, Georgia, Mississippi State, Alabama. So
that's wild.
I could see them losing to Miami.
They get 3 of that. They get most of those at home in Baton Rouge. That may help, but in terms of talent, they're going to be on equal footing or below on all those games.
I can see them losing to Miami. I can see them losing to Auburn. I can see them maybe losing to Florida. That's on the road. Georgia, Mississippi State, Alabama, and quite frankly, this is the year. This has to be the year that A&M ends that streak against LSU.
OB, thanks for filling in today, man. I enjoyed it. Good stuff. We will see you guys on Tuesday as that countdown to kickoff clock rolls on. Beliucci Hour lunch. Louie is on the other side.
Folks are always looking for a place to meet friends, grab some food, relax, and unwind with a cold beer, mixed drink, or glass of Boots Sweet Tea. The Tap on Harvey Road has been the place to do just that for nearly 30 years. A casual atmosphere and tasty food keeps people coming back for more. Our burgers, salads, chicken tenders, nachos, and more are sure to satisfy whatever craving you have. And being in SEC country, the Tap is a great place to meet